Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be talking about a personal experience of mine, and I'm going to be talking about my experience with online schooling. So, I went to regular school all the way from preschool to my junior year of high school. And about midway through my junior year, it was like the end of February in my junior year, I started doing online schooling. And I'm kind of going to tell you guys all about why and the process of it. But mainly I'm making this video because I want you guys to know that there is always other options. If you're struggling in high school like I did, there is so many other options for you. There's online schooling, there's night school classes. I know certain high schools offer like at-home programs, so definitely look into it. I am so lucky that I had the option to do online schooling and still graduate, still get my diploma, still have a normal high school experience even through doing online schooling. So basically, I always had like school through like elementary school, and I even loved middle school too. But then once I got to high school, I really started hating school. The first reason was that my two best friends, they went to different schools than me. So when you graduate middle school here, you can either go to the local high school, which is where I went. You can go to a vocational school, which is where one of my best friends went. Or you can go to an agricultural high school, which is where my other best friend went. So all three of us kind of separated and went our own ways. Of course, we still kept in touch. We still see each other now. But that was really hard for me because I was with them all the time in school, in classes, at lunch, whatever. I always saw them. So, and I always knew like that they were there. And just the sense of knowing that they weren't going to be there anymore was something that was hard for me. I had other friends, of course, though, thankfully. One of my best friends actually lived right down the street from me, so I picked her up like every day before school, and we'd go to school together, so that was really great. But then in my sophomore year, she moved. So that was something that was also really hard for me to deal with. Her and I were super close, and then she moved to New York, so that was something that I had to deal with as well in my sophomore year. Freshman year was just a big transition for me, I think. As it is for everyone going from middle school to high school, it's a really hard thing. And when we got to high school, the people that I had hung out with in middle school kind of chose different groups of people to hang out with that I wasn't really fond of, or I just didn't like the things that these other groups of people were doing. So I didn't really associate myself with those people anymore. But I still had about 3 to 4 like good friends that, I would be with in school, but we wouldn't really hang out outside of school. So that was kind of like, it was great to have them in school, but to not see them outside of school, like I just didn't really have a bond with these people. They were just people that I saw every day in school, basically. So freshman year was not very good. Sophomore year was also not very good. Although in sophomore year I started this class called childcare, and basically that's when we had a preschool in our high school. So the high school students, once you became a sophomore, had the opportunity to take the class, and you would basically help the teacher with the preschoolers. And you would also kind of have like a health class, a family, child development kind of class on certain days, and then on certain days you would help watch the preschoolers. So I loved that class in my sophomore year. That was my favorite class. That was something that I really looked forward to in school. And I also loved science, and my science teacher that year was amazing. So those two classes were something that I actually looked forward to. But other than that, I really wasn't crazy about school still. But, it wasn't so bad yet until I got to junior year. Junior year is when things really got tough for me. Junior year is really hard. So I was struggling with my grades. I had to take chemistry, And chemistry was really hard for me. I love science, but I'm not good at the sort of math aspect of it. So like I love biology and earth science, but when you put math in with science, I don't really like it anymore. So chemistry was super hard for me. I had terrible grades in that class. Had terrible grades in history. Math I always struggle with, but I had a really great teacher who helped me. I had her freshman, sophomore, and junior year, and thank God for her. She literally made sure that I passed everything. I would stay after school with her. She'd help me. She was just amazing. I love that woman. So math was terrible. Math was really hard. English, I was always good at. I never had a problem with English, so that was fine. But I kind of always just felt left out in high school. Like, I didn't have a big group of friends. I was never considered popular, and I think it was hard for me because in middle school I had a big group of friends. I was like, I knew a lot of people. I'd hang out with a lot of people. And then when I got to high school, that all just kind of stopped. And I didn't fit in anymore, and I felt very out of place. And like I didn't belong. I didn't have a clique that I belonged to. So I didn't really know what to do with myself. And then the icing on the cake in junior year was two things. So the first thing was childcare. It was my second year of childcare, so we were dealing with the preschoolers more often than we would have class time. And in that class, we had to actually present to the preschoolers. Like, we had to come up with our own lesson plans and teach them to the preschoolers. So I never really had a problem with presenting projects in school. Like, eventually you do it so much that you kind of just get used to doing it. So I never had an issue. But in this class, I was terrified to present to not the preschoolers, but the girls in my class, because it's an all-girls class. And they were all super judgmental, and they, there would be two, because usually it was like a partner project, so two girls would be up there presenting, and they're all whispering to each other saying, oh, she's doing this wrong, she shouldn't have done that on her project, just making stupid remarks that did not need to be said at all. So that made me terrified to present what I had to present to the class. Because I was like, they're going to talk about me, and like, I don't want that to happen, I'm already seeing it happen to everyone else, and yeah, that person that's up there presenting might not know that they're talking about them, but I know that they are, and I know that when I go up there, they're going to talk about me too. So I was terrified, and I talked to my teacher about it, and she was like, well, you still need to present the project. She was like, but there's always other options. Hold on, my cat is like playing with something that she shouldn't be playing with. I'm sorry. Luna? Hey, give that to me. Luna, is that in your mouth? Hey. Sorry about that. She is like having a toddler, literally. So back to my story. So presenting, I was terrified. My teacher was like, well, you can just present for me. But I was like, I don't even want to do that. Like, I'm just really scared about the whole thing in general. So that was number one. And then the second thing was my school had junior prom and senior prom, like, combined together. So some girl made a Facebook page where everyone could post their dresses, juniors and seniors, and make sure that no one had the same dress. So I went out, bought my prom dress, posted it on the page, all excited for prom and everything. And as soon as I post the picture, someone comments and goes, just so you know, so-and-so already has this dress. Like, literally 5 minutes later, another girl comments the same thing. So I'm, like, freaking out. I'm like, okay, like, that's great. And I didn't even know because the dress was a completely different color. Mine was, like, a seafoam green, and this other girl's was, like, a dark, deep, like, plum purple color. So I didn't even know that they were the same dress. So I'm, like, getting these girls commenting on the picture, and they're like, oh, this person already has that dress. Like, maybe you should go look for another dress. And then I have a girl messaging me on Twitter, because this was like over the weekend, and I think I had skipped school on the Monday or something, because I was like really scared to go to school, because I was like, people are going to talk to me about this whole dress thing and be like, oh, you shouldn't be wearing that dress. So this girl was messaging me, and she was like, oh, people are talking about you and how you have the same dress as this girl, and you should go return your dress. And she's telling me the people who are talking to them, who are talking about it. And one of the girls I was like pretty good friends with. So I'm like, okay, like now I really don't want to go to school now that I know people are talking about it. And I was absolutely terrified. So my mom had brought me to school like on that Tuesday or Wednesday or something. And I walked up to the doors and I just started crying, because I literally could not make myself go into the school. Like I couldn't do it. There was no way that it was happening. So I turned around, I walked back to my mom's car. I was like, I cannot do this. So then she just brought me home. And it literally became an ongoing cycle of that, like every week. I would go to school for like 2 or 3 days out of the week. And then the other 2 or 3 days, I like physically and mentally could not go to school. Like I wanted nothing to do with it. I wanted nothing to do with the people in that school. The girls in that school were really mean. And I hope that they look back and realize what they did to other people and how they made other people feel. Because mentally, I was not in a good place at all. I didn't want to be left home alone because I was afraid something was going to happen to me. So I would stay at my aunt's house. And that was actually when I had already started the online schooling. But I was still kind of just not in a good place mentally. I had extreme anxiety. I had depression. I would not sleep. I would get like 2 to 3 hours of sleep every night, and I would be exhausted every day. I wasn't eating properly, and normally, like, I love food, so I wasn't eating right. I would kind of just pick at food and not really, like, care for it. I didn't really want to be around my friends or other people besides, like, my family. I was just at a really low point. I would cry all the time, like, it was scary, and so I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't keep putting myself in a place where I know that I'm just going to keep feeling like this. So one day I was going to school and I literally couldn't go to school again. So the nurse came outside and like talked to me, and she was like, you can just sit in my office until you feel like you're ready to go to class. And I was like, I don't want to. Like, I literally do not want to be here. So then my mom ended up going inside that day and talking to my guidance counselor and asking him about online schooling. I had already been doing research on it, so I knew, you know, kind of what program I wanted to look into and the benefits of it for me at that time. So she went in and talked to my counselor. He was like, oh, it's going to take her about a month to get enrolled into a program like that. So that day, when my mom came home from work, we called the program that I wanted to do, which is Connections Academy. And they said, no, it'll take about a week or 2 to get her enrolled. She can, like, leave school now. I had to get, like, a letter from them sent to my school saying I was enrolling into their school. And I had to have, like, the town write a letter saying that I was leaving school or whatever. So it was like this whole process. All my records had to be transferred from my high school to the online school. So I had to kind of just wait for everything to be done. But initially it only took about a week and a half for me to finish at my high school and start my online schooling. So I started it in my 3rd semester of my junior year. So about halfway through. So I did that for 2 semesters in my junior year, and then I did it for my whole senior year. And I am so thankful that I did online schooling. It really helped me. I got better grades doing online schooling, which it's a lot harder though because you don't actually have a teacher right there with you all the time. I had these things called live lessons every week. So I could go into like a chat room and my teacher's face would like be there, or like a whiteboard, like a virtual whiteboard would be on the screen, but they couldn't see us, but we could sometimes see the teacher, and they would just teach us a lesson through there on the material that we were working on at that time. And so that kind of helped me, and I did like one-on-one sessions sometimes with my math teacher because I'm terrible at math. So he would kind of tutor me, and it was just really cool. The only downfall that I had with online schooling is there's nothing you can get in trouble for besides plagiarism when you do online schooling. I was accused of it probably about 15 times in my senior year, and I never plagiarized once. So that is something that they're very like strict on. Like literally, if you have one word that matches one article, you're plagiarizing. So that was something that was just ridiculous that I had to deal with. But other than that, it was the best thing that I could have done for myself. And in senior year, I had a prom, and I had an actual graduation where like I went to a hall and graduated with my class. This is my diploma. I got like a real diploma. I graduated last year on June 24th, so it's almost been a year, which is crazy. And it just says Connections Academy Commonwealth Virtual School. So it's free. Connections Academy is free. It's literally just a public school, but it's online, and they have the same exact Massachusetts like learning standards as my high school had and everything. And then inside here is just my diploma. So super cool. And then this was my cap from my cap and gown. At my graduation party, I had everyone sign it, so it was really cool. And my cap and gown was black. And yeah, so I still had, you know, basically the actual high school experience. I just did it a little bit differently. And I didn't know anyone who I graduated with, so that's kind of cool though. I think like what I did is really unique. You don't hear of many people doing that for high school, but it worked for me, and I want you guys to know that this is an option. Online schooling is an option. If you feel like you're struggling in school, or you're just having a really hard time with school, online schooling is there. And I definitely recommend looking into it, doing research. There's so many different programs. There's Connections, there's K through 12, there's all different schools that you can try to contact and get in touch with and see what they offer. So it's just a really cool thing. And yeah, so I definitely think that, you know, from the whole online schooling thing, actually after I did graduation and everything, I took a year off because I was like, you know what, I haven't been like in school in a long time. It's almost gonna be 2 years now since I've been like actually in school. So actually it is 2 years since I've been in school. So I took a year off before going to college, but I'm starting in the fall, and I'm really excited to get back to school and, you know, trying to get good grades and everything. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. But yeah, so the whole experience, the whole thing with my anxiety and depression and all of that, it definitely made me a stronger person. If someone tries to give me crap now, like I don't let them give me crap. Definitely become probably a little bit more aggressive, I guess, for lack of a better word. I just know how to deal with situations better now. And yeah, I mean, I definitely still have anxiety. It's always going to be there. I have generalized anxiety disorder. So my anxiety is always there. Some days it's worse than others. But yeah, so I will make another video soon more about just anxiety and depression, like just that topic. But I just wanted to make this video just to let you guys know that there are so many other options for you. And if you have any questions about my experience with online schooling, please feel free to leave them in the comments, or DM me on Twitter or Instagram, or send me a Snapchat, whatever. I'm always on social media, so I will definitely get in touch with you and try to help you as best as I can. I hope you all can kind of take something away from this video and just know that it always can get better. There's always other options for you out there. So yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed my video today. If you did, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. The button is right down there. And turn on my notifications so that way you guys know when I am posting a new video. And I will see you guys very soon, and I hope you all have a great week. Bye!